Imagine living each day without anger controlling your actions, your words, your peace of mind. Imagine staying calm, clear-headed, and unshaken, even when life throws chaos your way. Sounds impossible? It's not. But tell me honestly, how many times have you lost control, said something you regret, or let anger ruin your mood, your relationships, or even your whole day? The way you respond in moments of pressure defines who you are. If you act with calm, with wisdom, with emotional discipline, you stay in control, not just of the situation, but of yourself. But if you let anger take over, even for a second, then you've already handed your power to something outside of you. Today, you're going to learn the 12 Stoic secrets that will help you stay calm in any situation. These aren't just ideas from ancient books. They are tools, powerful tools, that you can start using right now to stop being reactive and start being unshakable. So get ready, because after this video, your mind will never respond the same way again. Before we begin, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Write in the comments, "I control my emotions. I am calm." This isn't just a sentence, it's a declaration, a message to your mind that you are stronger than your anger. The more you repeat it, the more natural it becomes, and soon it won't just be words, it will be who you are. So write it down now and let's begin. Number 1. Expect to be misunderstood. Yes, you heard that right. Expect it. Expect people to get you wrong. Expect them to twist your words, to assume things about you, to misread your silence, your tone, your actions. Because the truth is this: you can be honest, calm, careful, and still be misunderstood, still be judged, still be blamed. And if you expect people to always see your heart exactly as it is, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, frustration, and yes, anger. So why get angry when something happens that was always going to happen? People will misunderstand you. That's not a flaw in you. It's a feature of the world. They bring their own stories, their own pain, their own fears, and they look at you through that lens. That's not your fault. That's their filter. And once you understand that, once you truly accept that being misunderstood is part of the game, you free yourself from needing approval, needing explanation, needing constant defense. Think about it. How much time have you wasted explaining yourself to people who already made up their mind? How much energy have you poured into trying to correct someone's wrong opinion of you, only to realize it didn't work? They didn't want clarity. They wanted to be right, or maybe they just didn't care. So now you're faced with a choice. Keep fighting to be understood by everyone, or accept that some people will never see you clearly, and move on with your peace intact. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you." That applies perfectly here. When someone misjudges you, you don't have to turn it into a war. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't even have to respond. Sometimes the highest form of strength is quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't flinch when it's misread. Look back at history. The Stoics weren't always loved or understood. Socrates was misunderstood and sentenced to death. Epictetus was mocked for his limp and dismissed as a slave. Marcus was surrounded by liars, flatterers, and enemies in his own court. Do you think they spent their days correcting people's opinions? No, they lived by one rule. What matters is who I am, not what they think I am. That's the mindset you need. Because the need to be understood is where anger is born. You explain yourself to someone once, twice, and when they still don't get it, you feel the frustration rise. But if you expect it, you kill that anger before it even begins. It's like putting on a raincoat before the storm. You don't get mad at the rain. You prepared for it. Imagine waking up every morning already knowing, today someone will misunderstand me. Today someone will talk over me, ignore my good intentions, assume the worst. And then when it happens, you just nod. There it is, just like I expected. But here's the powerful part. When you expect it, you no longer need to fix it. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to prove anything. You can let it pass. You can walk away. Not because you're weak, but because you're above the chaos. Because your peace isn't up for negotiation. Now, that doesn't mean you stop caring about communication. It doesn't mean you stop growing, but it means you stop attaching your emotional peace to how other people perceive you. Their opinion is not your responsibility. Your actions, your values, your response, those are yours. That's where your focus goes. So the next time someone takes your words out of context, pause. Don't rush to respond. Don't let your heart speed up. Take a breath and remind yourself, this was always going to happen. People don't see you. They see what they're able to see. And sometimes that view is clouded by jealousy, ego, or past wounds. That's not your burden to carry. And when someone spreads a false version of you, lies, gossip, exaggerations, remember this. Truth doesn't need your defense when you live it daily. Keep showing up. Keep being consistent. Let your actions speak. Let time speak. The people who matter will notice. The ones who don't, they were never going to listen anyway. So train your mind to expect misunderstanding like a soldier expects resistance, not with fear, not with anger, but with calm readiness. The world will misread you, but you will remain steady. You will stay true. That's stoicism. That's strength. Don't chase after approval. Don't beg to be seen clearly. Don't waste your light trying to convince the blind. Repeat this to yourself. I am not here to be understood by everyone. I am here to live with clarity, whether they see it or not. And that's how you take the sting out of judgment. That's how you kill anger before it starts. That's how you win, by not needing to fight. So tomorrow, when the world misreads your silence, your effort, or your intentions, don't get angry. Just smile and remember, I was ready for this. Number 2, pause your thoughts. Stop. Before the emotion builds, before the story starts running wild in your head, before your mouth opens, just pause. That's it. That's the entire technique. But it changes everything, because every angry word, every emotional reaction, every regret you've ever had in a heated moment, it all started with a thought, a single thought. And most people never stop to notice that. They feel angry and think that anger came from what happened to them. But Stoics knew the deeper truth. It's not the event. It's the thought about the event that causes suffering. The moment something happens, the mind wants to label it. It wants to judge it. It wants to create a story about why it's unfair, why you were wronged, why they don't respect you, why this always happens. That story appears fast. It's automatic. It happens in a split second. And then what follows is even faster. Emotion, frustration, tension in your chest, heat in your face, the tightening of your jaw. Then maybe you lash out. Maybe you stay silent but angry. Maybe you say something you can't take back. All because one thought passed through without being checked. That's why the Stoics trained themselves not just to pause their actions, but to pause their thoughts, to catch that first spark before it lit a fire. Think about it like this. When someone says something rude to you, what really hurts? Is it the sound of their words? Or is it the meaning you assign to those words in your head? They're trying to disrespect me. They always talk down to me. I can't let them get away with this. That's where the anger starts, not outside you, but inside you. So the Stoic approach is simple. Break that pattern. Interrupt that chain reaction. Insert a pause. Let's say you feel disrespected. Instead of reacting, ask yourself, am I sure that's what they meant? Is this worth my peace? Do I want to carry this anger all day? Just asking these questions slows the thought down, and once it slows, it loses its power. This is what Seneca meant when he said, the best cure for anger is delay. Not suppression, delay. Give yourself a gap. Give yourself space. Let the emotional dust settle so you can actually see what's true. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled an empire and faced betrayal daily, would pause before reacting. He wrote in his journal, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. That's the pause. The moment between the stimulus and your judgment of it. In that small window, you have full control. That's where Stoicism lives. You don't need an hour of meditation to find peace. You need 3 seconds of awareness. When you feel the urge to react, practice saying one word in your mind. Pause. That's it. Say it again. Pause. Breathe in. Hold. Let the wave pass. Most people go through life letting every emotion decide the next step, but you're training to live above that. You're not a machine. You're not a puppet pulled by emotion. You are the one who chooses. And choice only lives in the pause. This doesn't make you passive, it makes you powerful. Because after the pause, if you decide to speak, you do so with clarity, not rage. If you decide to walk away, you do so with strength, not fear. If you decide to let it go, you do so by choice, not by weakness. The pause is your anchor, but don't expect perfection. You will still slip. You'll still catch yourself mid-thought, mid-reaction. That's part of the process. The goal is not to become emotionless. The goal is to become deliberate, and that comes with practice. Try this. For the next 24 hours, every time something irritates you, pause, just once. Before reacting, count to 3 in your head, or breathe slowly once. That's your window. That's the space where your power lives. And if you catch the thought late, that's okay. Reflect on it. Replay it in your mind. Ask, what would have happened if I paused earlier? That's how you build the muscle. That's how you learn to see the emotion before it takes over. The Stoics believed that the greatest strength is self-command, not over others, but over yourself. And self-command begins with the command to pause. So tomorrow, when someone cuts in front of you, when your friend says something careless, when a stranger is rude, when your expectations aren't met, don't follow the first thought. Don't believe it instantly. Don't act on it blindly. Pause. Hold. Choose. That's what Stoic discipline looks like. Not loud, not dramatic, but silent and powerful, controlled, calm, still. Repeat this to yourself. I don't react. I pause. I think. Then I choose. That's how peace is protected. That's how clarity is created. That's how anger dies before it ever gets the chance to live. Number 3, don't absorb, observe. Not every emotion is yours to carry. Not every insult is yours to respond to. Not every mood around you needs to become the mood within you. If there is one thing you must master to keep your peace, it is this. Learn to observe without absorbing. People will project. People will lash out. People will say things they don't mean, act in ways they can't explain, and try to hand you the weight of their own emotions. That's human nature. But just because someone throws fire at you doesn't mean you have to catch it. You are not a sponge. You are a mirror. The Stoics understood this deeply. They lived in a world full of chaos, criticism, and conflict, just like ours. But instead of reacting to everything, they developed the ability to watch what was happening around them like a still observer, calm, present, unshaken. Epictetus said, "When someone irritates you, it is not their actions that disturb you, but your judgment about them. So remove that judgment and the irritation disappears." That's the key. It's not about pretending nothing happened. It's about refusing to let it enter your mind and take control of your emotions. Think of yourself like a mountain. The wind may howl, the rain may fall, the storms may come, but the mountain stands. It doesn't absorb the weather, it simply endures it. Be the mountain. When someone speaks to you with anger, don't absorb it. Observe it. See it for what it is. A reflection of their own struggle, not a statement about your worth. When someone tries to provoke you, don't jump into their storm. Watch the storm from a distance. Let it rage without dragging you in. Most people think strength is about pushing back, arguing louder, defending yourself faster. But the real strength is in restraint, in not letting the fire spread into your chest, in watching the fire burn out on its own because you didn't feed it. Try this. The next time someone's mood shifts and you feel that emotional pressure building around you, pause. Don't respond. Don't internalize. Don't mirror their state. Just breathe and think. This is their storm, not mine. And if you feel the urge to get pulled in, ask yourself, do I really want to feel what they're feeling right now? Or do I want to keep my clarity? You always have that choice. Always. You are not weak for staying silent. You are not passive for stepping back. You are not cold for choosing peace over conflict. You are wise. You are trained. You are in control. This doesn't mean you become emotionless. It means you become intentional. It means you know when to engage and when to release. It means you know what belongs to you and what doesn't. When you absorb everything, you become emotionally heavy. You carry arguments in your chest, insults in your memory, tension in your shoulders. But when you observe, you stay light, you stay clear, you stay present. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself often, you always have the option of having no opinion. That means you don't have to pick up every emotion thrown your way. You don't have to label every situation, respond to every trigger, or defend against every misunderstanding. You can just let it pass. So when the world throws noise at you, observe. When people bring you drama, observe. When you feel tension rising, observe. And then ask yourself, is this mine to hold or theirs to carry? Most of the time, it's not yours. Let it go. The practice of observing without absorbing takes time. You will still catch yourself reacting, getting pulled in, feeling heavy. That's okay. What matters is that you notice. Each time you catch it, you strengthen the observer within you. Eventually, you'll become someone who people can't rattle, someone who listens without getting offended, someone who sees clearly even when others are clouded. That's the Stoic ideal, not cold and distant, but clear and grounded. So from now on, make this your daily practice. Don't absorb, observe. Let the world do what it does. Let people say what they say. Let storms pass around you, but inside, you stay still. Repeat this to yourself. Their emotions are not mine. I see them. I don't become them. And that is how you walk through chaos without being consumed by it. That is how you stay at peace in a noisy world. That is how you protect your clarity, your calm, and your character. Number 4, put yourself in their shoes. It's easy to judge. It's easy to react. It's easy to get angry when someone offends you, disrespects you, or lets you down. What's not easy, but what is powerful, is to pause and imagine what it's like to be them. Before you react, before you raise your voice or let frustration build, ask yourself one question. If I were them, with their life, their pain, their past, would I have done the same thing? The Stoics taught this not as a soft or sentimental idea, but as a tool of emotional control. Marcus Aurelius did it daily. He reminded himself that people act based on what they believe is right, not what you think is right. And if their belief is twisted, if their thinking is broken, it's not malice, it's ignorance, it's blindness. And you don't get angry at a blind man for stepping on your foot. You understand. You forgive. Everyone is fighting something you can't see, and most of the time, what they say or do isn't even about you. It's about them, their trauma, their fear, their insecurity, their past. So when someone cuts you off in traffic, don't jump to rage. Put yourself in their shoes. Maybe they're rushing to a hospital. Maybe they're overwhelmed. Maybe they're just having the worst day of their life. When someone snaps at you, pauses awkwardly, forgets to thank you, interrupts you, step into their reality for a second. Maybe they didn't sleep last night. Maybe they're carrying grief. Maybe they've never been taught how to speak with kindness. This isn't weakness. This is perspective. It's emotional jujitsu. You use understanding to deflect offense. Because when you see the situation from their eyes, the anger softens. You stop taking everything so personally. You stop assuming the worst. You stop trying to punish. Instead, you lead with calm, with maturity, with control. Musonius Rufus, one of the lesser-known Stoic masters, taught his students to practice role reversal as a mental exercise. If you were the one who failed, who forgot, who fell short, how would you want to be treated? Would you want immediate judgment or a little compassion? That's what putting yourself in someone's shoes really means, remembering that you too make mistakes. You too say things you didn't mean. You too have days when you're not at your best. And if you can give yourself grace, you must be able to give it to others. This mindset doesn't excuse bad behavior. It's not about letting people walk over you. It's about not letting their actions control your emotional state. When you choose empathy, you choose freedom. You choose to rise above. Try this next time someone frustrates you. Pause, take one breath, and silently think, what must it be like to be them right now? Not in general. Right now, in this moment. What pain are they carrying? What blind spots do they have? What are they afraid of? When you do this sincerely, your tone changes, your reaction softens, and you stop adding fuel to the fire. Even Marcus Aurelius, ruler of Rome, commander of armies, used this method. He reminded himself daily, when you wake up, expect to meet people who are rude, ignorant, ungrateful. But remember, they act this way because they don't know better. That's not arrogance. That's understanding. That's control. That's emotional intelligence in its highest form. And if you think this is too difficult, ask yourself, what's harder, understanding someone or staying angry all day because of them? Anger burns energy. Understanding builds strength. One drains you, the other frees you. You won't always succeed. Sometimes you'll still get irritated. But if you practice day by day, moment by moment, you'll start to notice a shift. You'll catch the frustration earlier. You'll remember that people are just people, flawed, complex, messy, just like you. So when the moment comes, when someone frustrates you, when your patience is tested, when you feel the reaction rising, step into their shoes. Even for a second. It's enough. You may still walk away. You may still set boundaries. But you'll do it with clarity, not anger. With reason, not reaction. And that makes all the difference. Repeat this to yourself. I choose to understand before I judge. I see through their eyes, not just mine. That is how you lead. That is how you stay calm. That is how you stop anger from owning you. That is how you live like a Stoic. Number 5. Laugh at the absurd. Sometimes the best thing you can do when life gets ridiculous is laugh. Not out of sarcasm, not to mock, but to disarm, to free yourself. Because if you can laugh at something, you take away its power over you. And the truth is, most of the things that make us angry are actually kind of absurd when you step back and look at them. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, wrote again and again about how small things really are when you zoom out. He reminded himself how petty people could be, how temporary every frustration was. He didn't respond with rage. He responded with calm, and sometimes with a kind of inner smile. Because what else can you do when people behave like children in grown-up clothes? You can either explode with frustration, or you can see the absurdity of it all and rise above it. Think about it. Someone honks at you in traffic because you didn't move fast enough. For 2 seconds. Someone sends you a rude email over something minor. Someone at work acts like a dictator over a meeting. Your neighbor complains about the way you parked. These things can ruin your whole day, if you let them. But what if you didn't? What if, instead of getting angry, you paused and said to yourself, "This is so small. This is actually kind of funny." Not in a cruel way, not in a superior way, but in a light-hearted way. A way that reminds you, I'm not going to let this nonsense steal my peace. Seneca said it best. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. And anger often lives in exaggerated stories we tell ourselves. They're doing this on purpose. They always treat me this way. They think I'm weak. But zoom out. Look at the moment like a scene in a play. Is it really that serious? Is this the final battle of your life? Or is it just a blip? Some minor chaos in a world that's always been a little messy. If someone is ranting and yelling and completely losing their mind, sometimes the wisest response is not anger, but amusement. Again, not to mock them, but to protect your own state. To say to yourself, look at this, people really are something. And you stay calm, you stay centered, you don't get pulled in. The absurd isn't always outside of you either. Sometimes the absurdity is your own overreaction, your own dramatic story. Have you ever gotten worked up about something and then hours later laughed at yourself? That's the moment of truth. That's when you realize how much noise your mind can create over nothing. Laugh at it. Gently. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. It's a reminder that not everything deserves your energy. Not every battle needs to be fought. Not every inconvenience needs to turn into an identity crisis. A Stoic sees life clearly, and when you see clearly, you realize most of what angers people is meaningless. temporary, silly. That coworker who always tries to one-up you, that stranger who insults you online, that person who gave you a dirty look at the store. In the grand view of life, what are these things? Dust, static, noise. If you can step back and see them as passing moments in a passing life, you take away their sting. You take away their weight. Practice this today. When something irritates you, ask yourself, if I watch this happen in a movie, would I take it seriously? Or would I laugh? Most of the time you'll find the answer is, I'd laugh. So laugh, not with cruelty, but with wisdom. A soft chuckle to yourself that says, this isn't worth it. I'm not going to be pulled into this mess. It's a private kind of strength, the kind that comes from knowing who you are and what truly matters. And the more you practice it, the more immune you become to nonsense. The little things won't touch you, the loud people won't shake you, and the absurdity of life won't make you bitter. It'll make you light. So the next time someone's making a scene, the next time something pointless disrupts your plans, the next time you feel that anger rising, stop, breathe, and smile. Repeat to yourself, this is ridiculous, and I'm not giving it power. That's how you win. That's how you rise above. That's how you stay free. That's how you laugh at the absurd and walk away untouched. Number 6, fix your weakness first. When something angers you, your first instinct is to look outward, to blame, to point the finger. They shouldn't have said that. He crossed the line. She disrespected me. But the Stoics had a different habit, a harder one, a more powerful one. They looked inward first, before reacting, before speaking, before accusing. They asked, what in me allowed this to hurt? What weakness in me got exposed? Why does this bother me so much? That's the move. That's the discipline, because anyone can blame others, but only a strong person looks at themselves in the heat of the moment and says, what do I need to fix in me? Epictetus put it simply, when you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger. That's not just philosophy. That's power. That's control. That's the path to peace. Let's be honest. It's easy to get angry. It's easy to be reactive. It's easy to point to the world and say, this is wrong. That person is rude. This situation is unfair. But what does that fix? What does that change? Nothing. Now try something harder. When someone offends you, instead of reacting, pause and ask, why did this hit me so deeply? Maybe it's pride. Maybe it's insecurity. Maybe it's a lack of self-worth. Whatever it is, that's your work. That's your practice. That's where you start. The Stoics didn't aim to change the world. They aimed to change themselves. Because when you change yourself, your thoughts, your reactions, your expectations, the world suddenly changes too. Not because it got softer, but because you got stronger. When you fix your weakness, people lose the ability to control you. Their insults don't land. Their rudeness doesn't sting. Their behavior doesn't steal your peace. Why? Because there's no weak spot for their chaos to enter anymore. Think of yourself like armor. When there's a gap, anger gets in. When there's a crack, pain slips through. But when you patch those holes, when you strengthen the inside, the outside can't break you. That's what the Stoics practiced every day. Not perfection, but progress. They weren't saints. They had tempers. They got frustrated, but they paid attention. They used anger as a teacher. They asked, what flaw in me did this moment reveal? And then they got to work fixing it. So next time you get triggered, don't just react. Reflect. If someone disrespects you and it ruins your mood for hours, that's not their power, it's your vulnerability. If someone disagrees with you and you feel the need to argue back instantly, maybe it's not about truth, maybe it's your ego. And that's okay. You're human, you're growing. But don't ignore the signal. Let anger show you the exact part of you that still needs discipline. Here's a simple practice. When you feel anger rising, say to yourself, "This is about me, not them, me." Then write it down. What weakness did this moment expose? What belief do I need to challenge? What story do I need to stop telling myself? This is what separates those who grow from those who stay stuck. Most people repeat the same reactions over and over, blaming everyone but themselves. But you're here to evolve. You're here to build strength. You're here to master yourself. And mastery begins with humility. The humility to say, maybe I need to become stronger instead of wishing others were softer. So when the storm comes, don't shout at the rain. Check your roof. Check your walls. Strengthen what's yours. That's Stoicism. And the more you do this, the more unshakable you become. You won't need to control people. You won't need to argue. You won't need to win, because you'll already be winning. Within. Repeat this to yourself. If it hurt me, it showed me where I still need to grow, and I will grow. That's how you become bulletproof, not by dodging life, but by fixing what's weak inside you. That's how you kill anger at its root, by owning your part, by building your strength, by fixing your weakness first. Number 7. Choose silence over reaction. In a world that pushes you to speak, defend, argue, and respond instantly, silence feels unnatural. But that's exactly why it's so powerful. Because silence is not weakness. It is restraint. It is control. It is strength that refuses to put itself on display just to prove a point. When someone offends you, you feel the heat rise. Your heart beats faster. Your mind races with comebacks, defenses, and insults. You want to say something, to correct them, to protect your pride, to not let it slide. But the Stoics would tell you, don't. Not yet. Wait. Hold. Say nothing. Musonius Rufus, a Roman Stoic often overshadowed by names like Seneca or Epictetus, taught his students that silence in the face of offense is not cowardice, it's wisdom. He believed that reacting with words in the heat of emotion only adds noise, not clarity, and he was right. Think about the last time you said something in anger. Did it solve the problem or make it worse? Did it earn respect or regret? Words spoken in reaction rarely come from reason. They come from wounded pride, from the need to be right, from a desire to win. And that's not Stoic, that's ego. But silence is intentional. It's a choice. And when you choose it, not out of fear, but out of discipline, it becomes your superpower. Try this. The next time someone says something rude, something unfair, something meant to provoke you, pause. Let them finish. Let the silence hang in the air. Don't jump in. Don't match their energy. Just be still. Say nothing. That silence will speak louder than any argument ever could. It shows that you are not on their level, not because you're better, but because you're anchored, calm, grounded. You're not reactive, you're reflective, and that changes the entire dynamic. The other person may get louder. They may try to bait you. They may ask, "What? Nothing to say?" And still, you choose silence. Because you know, you don't owe everyone a response. You don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to join every argument you're invited to. Seneca said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay. But silence is even more than delay. Silence is power under control. It is saying to yourself, I don't serve my ego. I serve my peace. Most people speak to defend their identity, their image, their pride. But a Stoic doesn't chase appearances. A Stoic protects their inner peace above all else. And sometimes that means walking away without a word. Don't mistake this for submission. You're not surrendering. You're deciding. You're saying, I won't be pulled into your chaos. I don't need to explain myself to be secure in who I am. I am bigger than this moment. You won't always get it right. Sometimes the words will spill out. Sometimes the reaction will win. But the more you practice holding your tongue, the more natural it becomes. The more powerful you feel, because in silence you reclaim your space. You own the room without raising your voice. You win without fighting. This doesn't mean you never speak, but it means you speak after the emotion fades, when your words can come from clarity, not chaos. That's the difference. Think of a fire. Reaction is throwing wood on it. Silence is letting it burn out. You control which happens. So the next time someone challenges you, mocks you, disrespects you, don't rush, don't speak, be still, let the tension settle, and then choose. Is this worth responding to? Will this build peace or destroy it? Most of the time, the answer is clear. Silence is enough. Repeat this to yourself. I don't react, I respond, and sometimes I say nothing at all. That's Stoicism in motion. That's power, dressed in calm. That's how you stop anger before it even starts, by choosing silence over reaction, every time. Number 8. Rehearse the insult. If someone insulted you to your face right now, how would you react? Would you freeze up? Would you fire back? Would your whole mood collapse under the weight of a few careless words? Be honest. Most people walk around untrained, emotionally soft, easily offended. One insult and they snap. One rude comment and their whole day is ruined. But not you. Not if you're serious about becoming unshakable. Not if you train for it. The Stoics had a method for this. A tough one, a practical one. They rehearsed the insult. They imagined it, over and over. In their minds, they played out the worst things someone could say to them. The cruelest names. The most disrespectful tones. They ran these scenarios through like drills. Why? So that when it finally happened, they were ready. Not shocked, not wounded, not reactive. Ready. Seneca once wrote, "It is not insults that disturb us, but our interpretation of them." In other words, the insult isn't the weapon. Your lack of preparation is. So prepare. Sit down and imagine it. Close your eyes and picture someone criticizing you, mocking you, undermining you, calling you something that cuts deep. Let the words hit you in your mind before they ever hit you in the real world. This is not weakness. This is not masochism. This is armor. This is callousing your mind so that when life swings, you don't break. A soldier doesn't wait until the battle to learn how to fight. A Stoic doesn't wait until the insult to learn how to stay calm. And here's the truth. It's going to happen. Someone will disrespect you. Someone will laugh at you. Someone will call you something you don't deserve. That's the world. That's people. But how you handle it? That's yours. If you've rehearsed it, the moment won't surprise you. You won't feel the sting. You'll see it coming, and you'll stand tall through it. You don't need to respond. You don't need to defend. You don't need to prove anything. You'll know, I already faced this in my mind. This moment has no power over me. The Stoics treated insults like training weights. every rude comment, every unfair attack, an opportunity to get stronger, not by fighting back, by staying still, by mastering the reaction, by building inner silence. Try this. Pick the insult that gets to you the most, the one you fear hearing, the one that triggers you every time. Now imagine someone saying it to your face. Imagine the tone, imagine the setting. Feel the heat rise in your chest. And then, don't react. Let it pass through you like wind. Do this again, and again, and again, until it loses power, until it becomes nothing, because it is nothing unless you give it meaning. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, choose not to be harmed, and you won't be. An insult is just air, just sound, unless you attach your identity to it. You don't have to. You can choose to be untouched. You can choose to let the words fall to the ground. You can choose to keep your peace while the world loses its mind. Rehearsing the insult teaches you to sit with discomfort, to make friends with disrespect, to see that what once wounded you is now your training ground. So when it comes for real, on the street, at work, online, wherever, you won't flinch. You'll nod. You'll breathe. You'll stay centered. Repeat this to yourself. I've already heard worse in my mind, and I survived. I am not defined by the words of others. I am defined by my response to them. That's how you become immune to offense, not by avoiding insults, but by rehearsing them, not by hardening your heart, but by training your mind, not by fighting back, but by standing still and walking on. That's the Stoic way. That's your way now. Number 9. Mirror only their strengths. When someone wrongs you, your instinct is to match them. If they're cold, you go colder. If they're loud, you go louder. If they lie, you twist the truth. This is what most people do. They mirror the energy they're given. They become a reflection, not a response. But the Stoic way is different. You don't mirror their weakness. You mirror only their strength. If someone is rude but bold, don't copy their rudeness. Copy their boldness. If someone is aggressive but decisive, don't match their aggression. Learn from their decisiveness. If someone speaks with arrogance but unshakable confidence, strip away the ego and borrow their confidence. You take what's useful. You leave the rest. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself again and again, the best revenge is to not be like your enemy. That means you don't fight rudeness with rudeness. You don't respond to cruelty with cruelty. You don't let someone else's behavior dictate your own. You decide what stays. You decide what shapes you. And that takes strength, because it's easy to reflect weakness. It's easy to meet anger with anger, disrespect with disrespect, sarcasm with sarcasm. That's emotional mimicry. That's the path of least resistance. But the Stoics believed in resistance, in discipline, in choosing the harder but higher way. So when someone shows you who they are, don't become them. Learn from them. Ask yourself, what part of this person's behavior is strong? Maybe they speak with courage. Maybe they stand their ground. Maybe they're persistent. Take that. Use that. Leave the rest behind. You're not here to match anyone's energy. You're here to lead your own. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you stoic. And here's the truth. People are full of contradictions. No one is all good or all bad. Even the ones who upset you carry strengths hidden beneath their flaws. Your job is to see clearly, to separate the two, to grow from every encounter, even the hard ones. So next time someone offends you, hurts you, challenges you, Don't lower yourself. Rise above. Watch closely. What can you learn? What can you admire? What can you adopt without copying their faults? This is the mindset of mastery, because when you mirror only strength, you grow stronger. When you mirror weakness, you become weaker. If you match pettiness with pettiness, you've already lost. If you match anger with calm, you've already won. So step back, observe, discern, ask, what part of them would I want to see in myself if it were refined? Then leave the rest behind. This is how you turn every interaction, positive or negative, into growth. You're not reacting. You're choosing. You're not copying. You're evolving. Repeat this to yourself. I will not become what I hate. I will extract strength, not absorb weakness. And then walk away. Not just unchanged, but better. That's Stoicism in action. That's who you are becoming. Number 10. Act like your highest self. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can act out of emotion, or you can act from vision. You can react like your old self, the one that gets triggered, offended, and thrown off course. Or you can respond like your highest self, the one you're becoming. That version of you, the disciplined one, the focused one, the calm one, it already exists. Maybe you're not there yet every day. Maybe you slip. Maybe you lose your cool sometimes. That's okay. But when anger rises, when tension builds, when someone tests you, that's your chance to step into that version. The Stoics weren't trying to be perfect. They were trying to be aligned, to live each day a little closer to their best self. Marcus Aurelius constantly wrote to himself, not to remind the world, but to remind his own mind, this is who you want to be, so act like it, right now. He had pressure, enemies, betrayal, chaos. But he didn't ask, what do I feel like doing? He asked, what would the best version of me do in this moment? That's the key. When you're tempted to snap, ask, would my highest self lose control right now? When you're ready to throw your peace away, ask, is this what the strongest version of me would do? When you want to fight back just to protect your ego, ask, or would my wiser self stay silent, stay still, stay in command? The moment you ask these questions, the temperature drops, the anger fades, and in that space you choose, not from habit, not from emotion, but from identity, because this is deeper than just self-control. This is about who you are becoming, the person you admire, the one you're proud of. That person doesn't react, that person doesn't lash out, that person doesn't lose their center over something small. That person breathes, reflects, responds. That person chooses what to carry and what to let pass. That person is not perfect, but they are intentional. You already know what it feels like to act from impulse, the guilt, the regret, the moments you wish you could rewind. So now it's time to build a new pattern. One where you don't act from the moment. You act from the mission. So when you're angry, frustrated, impatient, tempted to fire back or storm out, pause. Step outside yourself. Picture your highest self standing in the room with you, and then act like them. Speak how they would speak. Move how they would move. Let your behavior match their strength, even if you're not there yet. Because the more you act like them, the more you become them. Seneca said, you become what you practice. So practice being that version, in every small choice, in every heated moment. Your highest self doesn't come from comfort. It's forged in fire. And that fire is every conflict, every insult, every unfair situation you face with grace. People will push you. The world will test you. But you are not here to be reactive. You are here to be anchored. You are here to be centered. You are here to be aligned with the person you are building, day by day, decision by decision. So stop asking what you feel like doing. Ask what your highest self would do, and then do that. Repeat to yourself, I answer to my highest self, not my emotion. In this moment, I choose alignment over reaction. I already know who I want to be, so I will act like it now. That's how you lead yourself. That's how you lead others. That's how you rise above the noise, the chaos, the pull of your lower nature. That's how you become unshakable. One choice at a time, one moment at a time, always acting like your highest self. Number 11. See the hidden pain. Behind every insult is a wound. Behind every outburst is a story. Behind every rude comment, every disrespectful tone, every act of hostility, there is pain, always. You may not see it, you may not understand it, you may not even agree with it, but if you want to stop being angry, truly stop, then you need to look deeper than the surface. You need to see the hidden pain. The Stoics knew that people don't act out of evil. They act out of ignorance, fear, weakness, confusion, suffering. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly, when someone acts wrongly, they do so because they believe it is right, or they don't know better. He didn't say that to excuse their behavior. He said it to control his own. Because the moment you see pain instead of offense, you feel something different. Not rage, not vengeance, but understanding. And that understanding keeps you in control. Think about it. The man yelling at the cashier. He's not just angry about a refund. He might feel powerless in his own life. The coworker who talks over you. It's not confidence. It's insecurity. The person who criticizes everything you do. They may carry a voice in their head that has criticized them their whole life. The one who disrespects you the most might be the one who disrespects themselves even more. We often mistake someone's actions for their essence, but most of the time, what you see is not who they are. It's what they've been through. It's what they haven't healed. It's what they're trying to hide behind the mask of pride or aggression. And if you can train your mind to see that, to really look at people and say, this is coming from pain, your anger dissolves. Not because they were right, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to see what others don't. This is compassion, not softness. It's clarity. It's refusing to let another person's suffering poison your peace. Epictetus taught that it is not events that disturb us, but our judgment of them. Well, here's a judgment you can use. They're in pain. That's why they're acting this way. I won't take it personally. That's how you stay calm when others explode. That's how you walk away without carrying their storm inside you, because you saw what they couldn't even admit to themselves. Try it. Next time someone is rude, harsh, or unfair, pause. Don't react. Don't mirror them. Don't take it as an attack. Instead, silently say to yourself, I see the pain. I feel the fire, but I won't let it burn me. This doesn't mean you allow abuse. It doesn't mean you excuse bad behavior. It means you see clearly so you can respond wisely. So you don't waste your energy fighting someone who's already fighting themselves. It's easy to hate. It's easy to snap. But it takes real strength to stay still and say, this is not about me. This is someone else's suffering leaking out. And you don't have to fix them. That's not your job. Your job is to protect your peace, to walk through fire without catching flame, to recognize pain without absorbing it. The more you do this, the more powerful you become. You'll stop reacting to everyone's behavior. You'll stop living in a state of constant defense. You'll move through life with a quiet confidence, rooted in understanding. Because you'll know people are hurting, and when they are, they hurt others. But that's not mine to carry. Repeat this to yourself. This anger is not mine. This pain is not mine. I see it, but I won't become it. That's how you master yourself. That's how you stay calm in a world full of pain. That's how you see through people, not to judge them, but to free yourself. That's how you stop being angry and start being free. Number 12. Calculate the cost of anger. Anger always has a price, always. The question is, are you willing to pay it? Most people never stop to think about what anger actually costs them. They feel it, they act on it, and they move forward, leaving behind wreckage in their words, in their relationships, in their peace of mind. But the Stoics knew better. They knew that before you give in to anger, you should stop and ask one thing. What will this cost me? Because make no mistake, anger is expensive. It costs you clarity. It costs you control. It costs you time, energy, sleep, focus, reputation, and sometimes even people you love. And the worst part? You don't get any of it back. Seneca said, "Anger, a brief madness." He called it a kind of temporary insanity. Why? Because in anger you're not yourself. You say things you don't mean. You exaggerate. You destroy. You lose track of what actually matters. And by the time the anger passes, the damage is already done. So the Stoics taught a different approach. Before you act on anger, pause and do the math. Is yelling at your friend worth losing the friendship? Is proving your point in an argument worth 3 days of silence? Is reacting to a stranger online worth ruining your mood for the whole day? You have to ask, what do I gain by being angry? What do I lose by staying calm? And the answer is almost always the same. Anger gains you nothing. Peace gains you everything. Anger is loud, but peace is strong. Anger feels powerful in the moment, but it leaves you hollow. Calm feels like surrender in the moment, but it leaves you in control. So the next time something sparks your rage, do what the Stoics did. Step back. Run the numbers. If I respond with anger, what happens next? What's the long-term cost of this short-term satisfaction? Is this feeling worth the fallout? Most of the time you'll realize it's not even close, because the cost isn't just external, it's internal too. Anger robs you of your state. It clouds your mind. It poisons your focus. It weakens your discipline. And worst of all, it drags you out of alignment with the person you're trying to become. The Stoics were builders. They built inner strength, inner calm, inner resilience, and they knew that one moment of unchecked anger could destroy what took years to build. That's why they practiced stillness. That's why they rehearsed patience, not because they were passive, but because they understood what was at stake. So you have a decision to make. Every time anger knocks on your door, ask, do I want to be right or do I want to be free? Do I want revenge or do I want peace? Do I want to win the moment or win my life? Because you can't have both. You can't keep your temper and your clarity. You can't stay angry and stay wise. You can't react with emotion and lead with reason. So pause, count the cost, and if the price is your peace, your sleep, your self-respect, your relationships, walk away. Let it go. Nothing outside you is worth sacrificing the work you've done on the inside. Repeat this to yourself. Anger costs too much. I choose peace instead. I will not spend my energy on what leaves me empty. I am not controlled by emotion. I am guided by wisdom. That is how you become unshakable, not by never feeling anger, but by refusing to be owned by it, by seeing the true cost and choosing never to pay it again. You've just been handed 12 powerful Stoic tools, real tools, not fluff, not cliches. These are the mind-sharpening, ego-breaking, peace-preserving disciplines that will make anger a thing of the past. Not because the world will change, but because you will. You'll pause your thoughts. You'll choose silence. You'll see pain behind the insult. You'll walk away, not out of weakness, but out of unshakable strength. You won't mirror chaos. You'll mirror strength. And when the fire comes, you'll stay still, focused, clear. That's Stoicism in motion. That's you in control. And if you want to keep sharpening your mind, mastering your emotions, and building real inner power, subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next lesson. Your future self will thank you. Now go live it and let the world wonder how you stay so calm.